Good morning, Todd, Carly. President Biden's denial comes as the White House goes on defense about Hunter Biden attending the state dinner with his father. All this amid stunning whistleblower allegations of political interference in the federal investigation into his tax affairs, which led to Hunter pleading guilty to 2 federal tax charges and 1 federal gun charge in what some are calling a sweetheart plea deal that will likely keep the president's son out of prison. Listen.
Hunter Biden wasn't the president's son, would he have invited someone who had just reached a plea agreement with federal prosecutors 2 days earlier?
A couple of things. Again, that's his son. He's a family member. It is not uncommon for family members to attend events at the White House. I'm just not going to get into family discussion, personal family discussion.
It comes after IRS whistleblowers told Congress the agency recommended far more charges for Hunter Biden, but said the decision was hampered by political influence at the DOJ. Now, House Republicans say Americans deserve answers from the prosecutors who allegedly mishandled the probe from the very beginning.
We will continue to focus on the Justice Department. So we want to talk to David Weiss. We want to talk to Mr. Estrada. We want to talk to Leslie Wolf. We want to talk to all these U.S. attorneys and say, why did you do it this way? I mean, this is a credible whistleblower, 14 years experience.
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer now sounding off against having a special counsel investigate the president's son, telling me exclusively, quote, if you support a special counsel, you support and trust Merrick Garland to have the sole authority to pick one person who can then take over the investigation and never have to be transparent with the media or Congress. I trust the House Oversight Committee to be the one and only entity leading this investigation. Comer went on to tell me he believes the crimes the Bidens may have committed are actually being covered up by Garland. And guys, he says his committee will get to the bottom of it.
10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10% for the big guy. I'm creepy and I'm sleepy. I swore that she was 18. Come on, Jack. Biden crime family. Neat. Creep. Thief.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Benny Show. Today we are going to dive directly into Joe Biden and his crisis in America with straight up admitting that he sold state secrets. He did these things. ALX, where's the headline? There's no headline. ALX! What is the day? Today is June 2nd, according to ALX in the script. Oh no, ALX! The left's war on food. Liberal attacked pizza stoves and ovens in New York and pushed for lab-grown meat. And we're going to be joined by New York patriot who chucked pizza directly at City Hall yesterday. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. ALX normally has these headlines written for me and the date and everything. I don't even know what date it is. It's Tuesday, June 27, 2023. ALX. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a war on food in this country, and that is why you got to be careful about the kind of food that you put on your stove. You got to know where it comes from. Going to the grocery store just ain't good enough these days. That's why I use Moink. I get Moink because Moink sends these delicious, beautiful, farm and family-raised cuts of meat to my house every single weekend. I can slap this stuff on my grill, and I can know that I am eating meat that is not processed in China. I know that I am eating meat that is not made with a bunch of chemicals shoved into it. I know that I am eating meat that actually supports the American farmer, and that is why I use Moink. Moink is the only meat supplier that goes 100% directly from the American farmer to your grill, and their products are delicious. Right now, listeners of this show will get a free bacon in your first box. It is the best bacon I have ever eaten. Keep American farming going by signing up for moinkbox.com/Benny right now. Moink, M-O-I-N-K, box.com/Benny, moinkbox.com/Benny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, ALX is apologizing. That's okay. We got the date down. We're going to say it again. 1, 2, 3. Today is Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. Very important to get our dates down. Joe Biden doesn't know where he's at. Joe Biden straight up yesterday admitted that he sold state secrets. He did it on camera. He did it with the eyes of the world watching. You know, I've sold a lot of state secrets, Joe Biden said at a meeting at the White House with the cameras rolling. Very important. Now, you're going to hear a lot of tape of Donald Trump today. Oh, Donald Trump showed classified documents. I have a lot to say on that matter. But you won't see this clip of Joe Biden straight up saying, yeah, you know what I did during the last little bit of my 50 years in Washington, D.C.? Sold state secrets. Go.
Doing that stuff is oppression.
I was just thinking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
I sold a lot of state secrets, a lot of very important things. Joe Biden has dementia, and he's just straight up saying it now. Joe Biden is just straight up telling you. He's looking down the barrel of the camera and saying, yo, you know what? I sold a lot of state secrets. This is why they can't let a special counsel investigate the guy. This is why the entire apparatus of the entire federal government is turned inward to protect Joe Biden at every turn, not to investigate Joe Biden, but to cover up their investigations of Joe Biden. You're seeing that now on full display. Last night, and the only time we're going to cover this because the news is already out, but Donald Trump had a tape of him released talking about some type of a warmongering plan that they had and planned to invade Iran. Okay, his generals had planned to invade Iran. Donald Trump didn't start any new wars. Donald Trump ended wars, and they were so upset that he ended wars that they need to try and put Donald Trump in prison for not starting enough wars. So a couple of things here. One, the anti-war left is now angry that Donald Trump didn't start wars. That's what they're upset about. This is a clip of Donald Trump being like, hey, yo, they wanted to invade Iran. That's dumb. Mark Milley wanted to invade Iran. I mean, again, Donald Trump has every single right to take any single document that he wants as president. That is set precedent. Okay? But more importantly, I think, is how the left is now trying to spin this into some type of Donald Trump bad narrative when they know that their guy did 10,000 degrees worse. Watch Jen Psaki try and talk her way out of this one. Listen to this like hysterical slip of the tongue by Jen Psaki on MSNBC, attempting to make Donald Trump orange man bad. Remember, orange hair good, orange skin bad. Jen, go.
There's one president who values our national security and protects our secrets, and there's another former president and candidate who doesn't.
But there's one president who protects our documents. Actually, no, Joe Biden doesn't protect our documents, you see, because Joe Biden has been hoarding documents for his family's enrichment since 1974.
I made voluntarily, no one's had to threaten to do anything. Voluntarily open every single aperture I have with the house, offices, everything for them to come and look and spend hours searching my home. Invited them. Nobody, and so, and the best of my knowledge, the kinds of things they picked up are things that from 1974, and stray papers. There may be something else I don't know.
Oh, okay. So you've been doing this since 1974? This is your argument here, Joe Biden? Got it. Ladies and gentlemen, the best tweet on this comes from Mark Levin. As Mark Levin does, it is a little bit long-winded, but I think it is important to break down, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on here. And Levin, who is so good, does it the best. The best. Check this out. Mark Levin. While beating their chests about the horrors of Trump holding classified information, the fact is that the corrupt Biden DOJ, sleazy Jack Smith office, and the usual corrupt media laptop dogs have publicly identified, characterized, and released whatever classified information that is known to the public. In this, they've committed scores of felonies, interfered in a presidential election, and have pushed the nation to the brink of some type of civil war while smearing and denouncing Trump and his supporters. Trump hasn't leaked anything to the public. They have. Full stop. This is really important. They leaked a call yesterday, not a call, a surreptitiously, assumingly so, surreptitiously recorded bit of dialogue between Trump and a reporter. Now, wait a second. So Trump's bad for leaking information to a reporter that is supposed to be classified, that is supposed to be secret, and then the DOJ goes and then leaks the leak of the secret to a reporter, CNN, yesterday. Can somebody square this for me? Can somebody make me figure out, like, how is this somehow righteous? And by the way, this is one of 10,497 times that a classified piece of information has been leaked to a reporter from our superstate in order to damage Donald Trump. They do this all day long. And the lackeys and the lapdogs and the corporate press suck up every bit of propaganda shoved their way, spill every state secret if it damages Trump, the MAGA movement, the Patriot movement. If it damages anyone in Congress, they will leak it all as long as you're a Republican. Mark Levin. After 50 years in Washington, Biden owns the federal bureaucracy. That is a correct statement, man. This is true. Joe Biden has done enough favors and written enough checks in Washington that he is now to be protected. Thoroughly corrupt Biden family and Biden regime and the powers of the federal law enforcement against their political opponents, MAGA extremists, pro-lifers, parents, white supremacists, whatever that means, while the same investigators and prosecutors pull their punches, lie, censor, cover up, dismiss, play down all the publicly known evidence, thanks to the FBI and IRS whistleblowers, Kevin McCarthy, Jim Jordan, and James Comer, of millions and millions of dollars in foreign government payoffs, bribes, influence peddling, money laundering, and other sleazy Biden financial schemes, especially involving selling out their biggest threat, communist China. We have a Manchurian president. What does that mean? That means that we have a president that is not a president. We have a president that straight up on camera said, hey, I sold a lot of state secrets. Let's play the clip again. Joe Biden saying, I sold a lot of state secrets. Sold a lot of state secrets. More than I can count. My 1974 classified documents up to today. Over 2,000 classified documents at least in Joe Biden's possession in 5 different locations, including the Center for Chinese Grift. Go.
I was just thanking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
Wait a second. So, hold on. The entire news cycle stopped on a dime to talk about Donald Trump committing a crime on camera or with audio. CNN played this recording. By the way, we're not going to play the recording because we've already read to you Jack Smith's charging documents. Trump, we covered wall to wall. We did a 4-hour live on Donald Trump getting arrested in Miami. We've already played. There is nothing new. This has already been written down. They're leaking this. I'll tell you why. I'll show you exactly why they're leaking this, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be pretty obvious why they're leaking this. Let's go back to Levin, because this is really important. Mark Levin worked for an attorney general under Ronald Reagan. Mark Levin knows what a judicious attorney general does and how they behave. Listen to this. Attorney General Garland, corrupt to the core like a mob lawyer, has been caught perjuring himself before Congress, obstructing justice, claiming to not have interfered in the Hunter Biden investigation when IRS whistleblowers say the prosecutor told them he did. And they've numerous witnesses and contemporaneous notes to back them up. Garland has approved every sleazy investigative prosecutorial tactic against Trump and MAGA Republicans while trying to create the public image of an earnest judge. He is a dangerous man with Stalinistic characteristics. Garland has stonewalled appointing a special counsel to investigate his boss, Joe Biden, because he wants to smother with a political pillow Biden's multiple criminal activities that even involve national security. He's the man in charge of the Biden cover-up and the Trump imprisonment effort. Garland appointed and unleashed disgraced Jack Smith, known for Gestapo-like tactics, to pursue Biden's political targets. Smith was publicly admonished in an 8-0 Supreme Court decision for his abuse of power in a phony public corruption case brought against the Republican governor of Virginia. Garland saw that compelling and credential. Garland, Biden, and his operatives, the hopelessly corrupt media, and the Democrat Party are destroying our country right now before our eyes. This is the latest prosecutorial leak of an audio clip to CNN is further intended poison for a jury pool to deny the former president due process, that he was denied attorney-client privilege and the usual administrative process afforded to former presidents leading office. To be clear, we know nothing about the context of the audio, nothing about the Fed, that leaked the audio to CNN, the favorite state-run media outlet. We know no more and no less than they have told us. And there's multiple felonies committed in the regime in leaking of the tape. And that will be ignored. Felonies committed in the pursuit of Trump are no longer felonies. The justice system is dead. The Democrat Party owns the federal government. This is my best Mark Levin impression. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. It was worth reading because, well, Mark Levin is a legend. And also because Mark Levin has synthesized this information beautifully for us, along with Jack Posobiec, who says CNN released a tape of Donald Trump admitting on a hot mic to world leaders and journalists that I sold a lot of state secrets. Oh, wait a second. That was Dementia Joe. Why are they doing this? Why they got to leak this now? Why would they leak? This is their key evidence against Donald Trump, okay? In the documents case. This is the key evidence. The key evidence. Now, I'll tell you, I don't think that what Donald Trump did was smart. I think that, like I've said many times about Donald Trump, he's often his own worst enemy in these situations. That Donald Trump, during his own presidency, was often his own worst enemy. And was played off of by the press and their knowledge that Donald Trump and the press have an adversarial relationship and that the deep state can utilize their operations inside of the media. The deep state believes that they own the corporate press and that they have done the inroad work in order to own the corporate press for the better part of the last 70 years. Operation Mockingbird, look it up. Operation Mockingbird is an operation where the CIA and the FBI, this is a real operation, this is called out before a Senate committee. The CIA and the FBI paid journalists in order to shill information to psyop the American people. They pay them. It's literal propaganda in every other Soviet term. In any other country, would just call it state-funded Russia Today media. We do that here in America. Are we the baddies? Makes you wonder. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why they're panicking right now and releasing these tapes about Donald Trump, the reason they're freaking out right now about all this, is that the media has begun to turn on Biden. It's gotten so loud. The blaring has gotten so loud. And the people who are smart in the media, and I point to myself here only because I know what's coming, they're going to do impeachment. And what's going to happen is that the regular ABC, CBS, NBC, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, New York Post has been great. New York Times readers, on the other hand, those people are going to go, wait, what? They won't be able to ignore the impeachment, okay? This is why impeachment is such a strong tactic here by McCarthy. They won't be able to ignore the impeachment. They'll say, my God, my paper's been lying to me. And my news channel has been lying to me. Or they've been obscuring what's actually happening in the country. We got a major problem here. And so they're going to have to start slowly seeding into their coverage that Joe Biden is a corrupt bastard, jackwagon, who deserves to be put out to pasture like any donkey. You're starting to see this with Kenneth Vogel, for instance. Kenneth Vogel is a man at the New York Times who, that's right, correct? Yeah, New York Times, yeah. Ken Vogel, one of the chief investigators in the New York Times, has been tweeting nonstop about Hunter Biden. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do we have sad trombone? Been tweeting nonstop about Hunter Biden. Oh, we're sorry. The New York Times is now covering within. Royce, you got to get better at that. Royce, we're gonna work on the sad trombone. We're introducing some new things to the show. We decided to do the sad trombone. First play, he didn't get it. Second play, we got it, and then we played it twice. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on the sad trombone. Within 10 days of Hunter Biden's WhatsApp message to Chinese official, the Chinese energy company sent 2 payments totaling $5 million to an account for Hunter, according to records in the GOP investigation. That's not good. Uh-oh, 3,000 likes, 3,000 retweets, 5,000 likes. That's not good. Why is the New York Times covering the Biden corruption? It's not just the New York Times. In fact, there was a deluge of corporate press that is supposed to be owned by the Bidens covering the Biden crimes. Why? Because they're previewing impeachment. Journalists, they don't want to do this, but journalistically they have to. The impeachment is going to force their hands. Check out this supercut.
And add to all of that the legal issues surrounding the president's son, Hunter, the latest of which is an accusation by two credible IRS whistleblowers claiming misconduct by the Department of Justice and the FBI during the investigation of Hunter Biden.
Two whistleblowers from the IRS told lawmakers they recommended charging Hunter Biden with 6 felonies and 5 misdemeanors over his taxes. Instead, the plea deal includes 2 misdemeanors, 1 whistleblower. Gary Shapley says the DOJ gave Hunter Biden preferential treatment.
You plan to? Can you get us that answer? And she said, Chuck, no, I don't plan to speak to him about this, and I don't plan to address this from the podium.
Wow.
And that's why you're having other folks in the White House, like from Oversight and Investigations, having to address this from a different way, but certainly not on camera and not at the podium, which in many ways creates more questions about this.
Shapley also claimed there was a recovered 2017 WhatsApp message from Hunter Biden apparently sent to a Chinese businessman over an outstanding payment, stating, quote, I am sitting here with my father. We would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Hunter Biden allegedly texted, according to the transcript. If true, this would seem to contradict comments from President Biden that he was not involved in his son's business deals.
Holy crap, guys. Holy smoly. Holy guacamole. We just got breaking news that there is actually a physical message from Donald Trump Jr. A physical message just broke. This just broke on CNN. A physical message from Donald Trump Jr. saying that he's sitting right next to Donald Trump, his father, and that they're about to sell state secrets and American energy resources to the Communist Chinese Party. We're doomed. 2024, we're doomed. We're doomed. What is that, ALX? What is that? What is that? Oh my God. Correction. I'm so sorry. It's the Bidens who actually decided to sell state secrets to the Chinese, and we have the text messages. We have them here. So in case you flip open your phones on social media and hear the screaming and panic and terror of the Bidens, of the Biden regime media, talking about Donald Trump showing warmongering plans to go start a new war in the Middle East and not doing it, by the way, the left should be celebrating Donald Trump. They should be applauding Donald Trump for not starting a war with Iran, which would have been a bad thing to do. What the hell happened to the left? Wait a second, so you have a president that didn't start a new war? And now that's a bad thing? Yeah. Oh, and moreover, I didn't see any breathless coverage. I mean, we played a little bit there. We're glad that this is starting to break the narrative. But I didn't see any breathless coverage of this text message here before you. I am sitting here with my father. I've read this so many times, I've memorized it. I'm sitting here with my father, says Hunter Biden to the Chi-Com. He's going to be really angry if you don't send us money. You better send us money. Otherwise, we are going to use all of his big business connections, all of his political connections, being a fossil and a barnacle in D.C., and we're going to come after you. And by the way, the reason you need to send us money is because we're trying to sell you American resources. We're trying to literally sell American natural gas to China. How you like your gas prices? What are gas prices where you're at? What are gas prices where you're at? Toss it in the comment section. About $3.50. It's about $3.50 in Tampa. So that's why they're upset. That's why they're scared. They know that there is so much demonstrable evidence against the Bidens. They will not be able to win an impeachment battle. They will not be able to. They might not be able to get a vote to actually convict in the Senate. Okay? In the House, you'll be able to impeach Joe Biden in the House. Okay? You might not be able to get a vote to convict in the Senate because the Senate is controlled by Democrats. I mean, I just don't think so. You might have some people that like abstain. Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, some red state senators. But either way, you'll be able to win in the public arena because they know that the evidence is against the Bidens here. Joe Biden knows the evidence is against the Bidens. Joe Biden trapped at the White House yesterday by a reporter as he's being brushed out of the room. Got to go change his oops, I crap my pants. And Fox reporter actually cornered him and said, hey, yo, do you still stand by the fact that you know nothing about your son's business dealings? I mean, we have the text messages. You old donkey. Here's what Joe Biden said. No. Joe Biden getting asked at the White House day after day after day what he knows about his son's business dealings. That's a sad trombone. Can we do it? Oh, does it start over? Do it again. There we go. We're going to get it right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get it right. This show is a work in progress, and we love you, and we say thank you for sticking with us as we attempt to make this show as entertaining and as must-watched as possible. We're going to get that sad trombone. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. That last one that we just, it started in the middle of the sad trombone. We're going to start, one of these days, we're going to get a clean break. Ladies and gentlemen, someone was looking for a break yesterday. Cringe Jean-Pierre. This is our cringe alert for the day. Cringe Jean-Pierre was saying that we run the most transparent administration in American history. How's that make you feel?
I'm curious, though, in light of some of the recent legal controversy, if the president communicated to members of his family not to conduct business on White House grounds. Can you tell us about any kinds of guardrails that are up?
So look, I'm going to be, again, very mindful because this is all connected to a case that the DOJ is currently overseeing, so I'm not going to comment on that specifically. But as you know, and we have laid out very early on in this administration, when it comes to ethics, when it comes to how we all kind of move about and how we respect clearly the government ethics here. This is an administration that has been incredibly transparent on that.
Oh man, dude, seriously, I'm telling you, imagine, are you married? You got a significant other? You got a spouse, a boyfriend, wife, whatever. What if every time that you ask them something, honey, where'd the $500 in our bank account go? Or whatever, you know? You asked your spouse something, and what if they looked, every time they tried to answer you, they looked at their shoes, or they looked down at something, and they're like, it's like, we try our hardest here to ensure transparency and ensure that we do things right around here. What if your spouse gave you that response, right? Hey, honey, where all the money in our bank account go? We are looking into it, okay? We are looking into it, and they can't make eye contact with you. Does that seem like someone who's lying to you? Yeah, Cringe Pierre had a tough one yesterday. She was asked again about Merrick Garland, and of course, we are confident in this, the ethics. Yeah, no, liars, poker face, go.
Speaker McCarthy floated this idea of launching an impeachment inquiry targeting Attorney General Merrick Garland. And the focus here, according to the Speaker, would be Merrick Garland's weaponization of the DOJ. What's your reaction to that idea?
So as you've heard me say repeatedly over and over again at this podium is that the president respects the Department of Justice independence. He respects the rule of law, and that is what you're going to see under this administration. So I'm not going to speak to anything that is related to that. And it's unfortunate that congressional Republicans want to continue to focus on an issue that Americans that's not their priority. They want us to move in a bipartisan way.
Is this your priority? Is this your priority, ladies and gentlemen? Do you care about these kind of things? When you see a clip like this one, when you see a clip where Joe Biden, put up the White House transcript. The White House transcript says it. Read this. President Biden, okay. Anyway, I started off without you. I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things. Huh? Dude, this is what the guy said. This is the White House. This is according to whitehouse.gov. Joe Biden. So does this bother you a little bit? Joe Biden, oops, I crapped my pants. Joe Biden got dementia. And now he's just straight up admitting to his crimes. He's done this before on camera. Son of a bitch, they fired the prosecutor. He's done this on camera before. Interesting thing about evil and the interesting thing about liars is that eventually they start to actually break down and need to scream their crimes. They need to confess. And this is what's happening right now with diseased old Joe. He's he's so broken down. He's having to scream his confessions in public. I know this is the third time we'll play this clip. It's only a 5-second clip, but it's worth saying again. Joe Biden said, I sold a lot of state secrets on camera. And no one in the press will show you this clip. Watch.
I was just thanking, anyway, I started off without you. And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
Okay, well, sold a lot of state secrets. Sure would be nice to know where they went. For that, of course, we would depend on our boy Jim Jordan, who is looking directly at Hunter Biden in the secret phone line that was uncovered this weekend. There is a secret phone line, a private phone, like a private server, that Joe Biden had in order to coordinate these deals with his son. Jim Jordan saying, I'm going for that phone. Bulldog got a bone. Go.
Congressman, are we going to get any of these burner phone records, any of these credit card records from these shell companies? Because that could lead us somewhere.
Yeah, I think that'll probably, Jesse, primarily out of Chairman Comer's committee, the Oversight Committee. He's been focused on the business records associated with the Biden, business enterprise.
Okay, so we're going to get the phone records. What happens next? We got to start going. We had Brett Tomlin, who's a fantastic attorney, former DOJ attorney, with us yesterday. And he was saying what you got to do is you got to start bringing in people who know about the Biden crimes and getting them to testify. You got to get their testimonies locked down, right? Put them under oath and get those testimonies locked down. Right now, the only people who are actually putting testimonies under oath on air, can't really put them under oath if they're on TV, is members of the media who wish to interview Biden whistleblowers. Now, we had a Biden whistleblower on for nearly 45 minutes the other day, Mike McCormick. It was great. Mike McCormick he's the stenographer, correction there, forgive me, for Obama. If you missed the show, you should go back and rewatch it. Because he's like, yo, I worked in the Obama administration. I was a stenographer. I traveled with Joe Biden to Ukraine. This guy's corrupt. This guy didn't care about Ukraine until his kid got a job at a natural gas company. And then suddenly he's insane. He wants to go to Ukraine all day, every day. He wants to develop their natural gas. Well, that's a little interesting, a little bit of a conflict of interest there. And he's like, I'm the guy writing down everything. There are so many witnesses to these crimes because these crimes were egregious because they never thought they'd be found out. They thought they had the protections. Now more whistleblowers are coming forward. One came on Jesse Waters' show last night and told his story about wanting to wear a wire in order to capture the Bidens in a crime for campaign fundraising violations, which of course will land you a significant amount of jail time. Watch.
And then it went to Dennis Toner, who I said, Dennis, I think this is a campaign thing, so the contribution limit is $2,600. How do I get around that? He said, how many managers do you have you can trust? I said, all of them. And he said, well, have them write a check and reimburse them. I knew that's how you got around the limit. I didn't know it was illegal.
All right.
And,
So the FBI came to you. They say, we got you. And you offered what to the FBI?
They met me at a gas station on a Wednesday morning at 8:30 in the morning, and they followed me from my house. So I sat down with them for 4 hours and told them everything. And they said, these donations that you made in the name of other people. I said, well, but the Bidens. I mean, that was as a request from Dennis Toner, the campaign manager, and they wouldn't have it. So they asked me to wear a wire. They did put me in situations where I was involved with other people. And once it got to Dennis and to Joe, the entire investigation was called off and the indictment was unsealed.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I see a lot of people in the comment section saying that they don't want to watch Fox News and they don't see Fox News. I got to tell you, we're going to reduce the amount of Fox News clips that we play on the show. Unfortunately for us, there is some programming, like that exclusive whistleblower interview, we got to play. Now, you guys know that I'm Team Tucker, and I communicate with Tucker pretty regularly. Jesse Waters got Tucker's time slot effectively yesterday. That was announced yesterday. The Tucker time slot is going to be taken over by Jesse Waters. I call balls and strikes in this program. I like Jesse Waters. I'm not telling you to watch Fox. I've canceled my Fox Nation. I have not watched Fox since they did Tucker dirty. So let me make that very clear to you. However, on this program, there's some exclusive clips and things like that we got to play, that we got to put up, because that's important. This is important for you to see, for me to see, and for our show. We want more whistleblowers. We want to protect the whistleblowers. We want to defend them. We want to give them airtime, and we want to use the capacity for this program to support the whistleblowers against the Bidens. There's a lot of them coming out. Ron Johnson saying that there are going to be more whistleblowers coming out against the Bidens. Ron Johnson, of course, is the Senate investigatory bulldog. Ron Johnson saying, get ready, you ain't seen nothing yet on whistleblowers against the Bidens. Go.
Your brother, but Senator, where does the investigation go next then? If they're stonewalling you, what other powers do you have?
Well, again, you get whistleblowers, you find things like this WhatsApp text that incriminates President Biden, then you have to go and develop the evidence. Was President Biden there? Apparently the IRS investigators requested GPS coordinates of the phones to prove that, and yet that was obstructed. They weren't allowed to get those GPS coordinates. So again, we're just finding out from whistleblowers. And Lawrence, we need more whistleblowers. We need more people in these agencies that have integrity, that want to restore credibility of their agencies, to come forward and tell us the truth. But listen, when people do things wrong, when they break laws, they try and hide it. It's not easy to do these investigations, and it certainly isn't easy when you have the deep state covering it all up.
Yeah.
So we have, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of Tucker fans. I see a lot of Tucker fans in the comment section. Obviously, we're Team Tucker. I have been communicating with Tucker. Sometimes I even share my text messages with Tucker. He's a hilarious dude. I put them up. They're funny. They're interesting. He himself has some big plans. That's all I can tell you right now. There are big plans in the works. Hold your faith. Be prepared, ladies and gentlemen, and have your head uplifted. There are big, big plans in the works, okay? That's all I can say right now. But, you haven't seen the end of Tucker Carlson. Not by a long shot. And if you believe that you're just going to see the occasional video from him on Twitter, nope. We shall not go silently into the night. Oh, man. It's going to be glorious. Now, here's the thing. If you go woke, you do go broke. Now, what does that mean? That could mean Bud Light. That could mean Target. It means you could lose money. It could also mean that your brain gets broken. Brain broke. Part of the reason why I'm going to be partial to playing Jesse Waters clips, and let's call balls and strikes here, okay? Let's separate Fox Corporation from Jesse Waters himself. Jesse Waters is the guy who broke all the Pelosi news. We only have the Paul Pelosi mugshot and drunk driving video and hammer recordings. Hammer time. We only have any of that. Jesse Waters' team did the best reporting in the world on that. That is verifiable. Jesse Waters is the guy who drove that. Hired the lawyers, sued. His show went after that, the Pelosi's. And so I think that's pretty based. Okay? I'm not telling you to watch Fox. I won't. I cancel all my Fox subscriptions. But I'm telling you that Jesse Waters deserves a little bit of credit for that. He broke Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was asked recently about Joe Biden's crimes, and you can see her broken brain. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our Go Woke, Go Broke of the day.
The president says he never talked business with his son. Why are there these texts showing Hunter mentioning he's sitting next to his dad while threatening a Chinese businessman?
The time has come for extreme MAGA Republicans to stop peddling conspiracy theories and start working on issues of the economy that are important to the American people.
But when you see the evidence, none of this sounds fishy to you? None of this sounds fishy at all to you?
Same answer.
If the president says he never talked about business,
Big hurry. I have work to do to save women from a very destructive Republican Party in this House. You should be worried about that.
Does any of this bother you, Speaker Pelosi?
What bothers me are the Republicans standing in the way of your reproductive freedom.
Watching these clips, I watch them with you. I watch them with you, and I watch the comment section. It's like, wait, Nancy Pelosi is given this hard evidence of Joe Biden's crimes, and she says you should get an abortion. Oh my God, it's gonna be so easy to impeach these people. Hakeem Jeffries, who's in charge, he took Nancy Pelosi's spot, right? He's supposed to be the next thing, the new leader. He's like, oh yeah, it's all a hoax. This is all a hoax. Shove it down their throats. Shove it down their throats, ladies and gentlemen. I will say this. Speaking of shoving it down a throat. The greatest argument against impeaching Biden lays directly before us, okay? And I want to see the comment section respond to this. Because I was sent this by a couple people, and I would say, that's an interesting argument. The greatest argument against impeaching Joe Biden is actually who takes the place of Joe Biden. Let's say we go through. Let's say we go through with the impeachment, as Kevin McCarthy has promised to do. The entire show yesterday was about that. He even gave the date that they will begin impeachment proceedings against Garland. Go, go, go. The coil wraps the black hole, man. Get going. But ladies and gentlemen, as Kevin McCarthy works his way up the food chain, the greatest argument against the impeachment is that this becomes your president.
Poor hubby. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no way around it. There's no way around it. That's your president. What do you think? What do you think? Which is better? I didn't write the Constitution, unfortunately, and there ain't no way around it. Let's say you succeeded if you succeeded in impeaching Joe Biden, that's what we get. We get that every day. That's going to be the presidential alert on your phone. It's going to go to your default phone ring. That cackle. The presidential alert is going to force that as to become your ringtone. What do you think? This is the best defense they have of Hunter Biden. Okay? So this is why I'm pretty confident that you're going to get like some actual, you're going to get, they know that things are bad here. They went to America's like dumbest pundit, Anna Navarro, and said, you better come up with a defense of Hunter. They went to The View. And they know The View's audience. They know these low IQ individuals. And they said, you better come up with the best defense of Hunter you got. So they went and they workshopped it for hours, sweating overnight in the boiler room. Here's the best they got. They broadcast it yesterday. So Hakeem Jeffries says it's a hoax. Nancy Pelosi says have more abortions. That's her defense of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Have more abortions. Here's what The View came up with. Go.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal, the this, the that, it's also the story of a father's love. And Joe Biden has never and will never give up on his son Hunter, and will never treat him lesser than. And so he is a father first. Take it or leave it.
He is a father first. Okay. Got it. Anna Navarro, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Do you buy that? You buy it? That's gonna be the debate. Apparently they're going full Leroy Jenkins into 2024. They're going to use this. They're going to use this and they're going to say, "Oh, great. This is awesome. This is awesome. We're going to try our hardest to somehow turn this into something good, just like Jill Biden did when Bed Bath & Beyond went out of business. You see, when Bed Bath & Beyond went out of business, that's when Jill Biden lost her favorite store where she shopped for all of her dresses, in the shower curtain section of Bed Bath & Beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, Jill Biden has an update on the 2024 election for us, and get ready for this one. This is our 2024 election update. Go. Jill Biden says donors, nothing can slow down her husband Joe, except for a sandbag. Joe, despite polling, finding 2/3 of Americans don't think he has the necessary physical or mental health to be president, they're running full bore into not campaigning. It's very interesting. So a report recently from NBC, as of this morning, saying that Joe Biden won't be actually doing campaign events, you see. He's just going to be traveling to New York to hoover up money from the people who presumably don't want to get on a phone call with Hunter Biden. Don't want to be caught in a WhatsApp text with Hunter Biden, you see. My family holds a grudge. My dad's here. He's going to be mean to you. MSNBC reporting this morning that Joe Biden doesn't have any campaign events planned. Does that sound like a real presidential campaign to you? Go.
What can we expect from the president as this campaign really kicks underway?
A lot of fundraising, Joe. We're at the last week of the fundraising period. So the president's focus beyond those economic speeches is raising a lot of money. Today, he's heading to suburban Washington, D.C. to do that. He'll be flying to Chicago to give that speech, but also raise money. And then I'll be heading to join you in New York on Thursday, where the president also has fundraisers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden's going to New York. Unfortunately, he won't be able to pick up a slice of pizza when he gets there. New York has canceled pizza. Well, Benny, you might say. Isn't New York like the place that has some of the most famous pizza in the world? The most historic and well-known pizza places? The coal, the brick, the wood, the fire. Aren't those places in New York City? Is it every mafia show and every Sopranos, everyone's eating pizza, everyone's going to a pizza place? Isn't New York City like the mecca for all pizza? Yes. And that's the point. The point of the Green New Deal, the point of the Great Reset, the point of the World Economic Forum is to humiliate you, denigrate you, and to prove that you, the little people, cannot have the nice little things that you have wanted so badly in your life, that you have grown accustomed to, like private property, like non-federally backed cryptocurrency, like having physical dollars in your hand, like hard currency, like these kind of things, like driving a car, driving an automobile, filling that car up with a fossil fuel. Those things you're not allowed to do. And you know, pizza in a coal-burning oven and in a wood-fire burning oven, that creates fossil fuel. So you're no longer allowed to eat pizza. Microwave Totinos only from now on in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, historic Big Apple pizza joints, according to the New York Post, could be forced to dish out mounds of dough under the processed recent edict of pollutant-spewing coal and wood-fire ovens, the Post had learned. New York City Department of Environmental Protection, whatever that means, has drawn new rules that would order eateries using the decades-old baking method to slice carbon emissions by up to 75%. This would effectively destroy all pizza operations in New York. You would be given a massive fine. You would have to throw yourself at the mercy of this Orwellian Department of Environmental Protection. New York City has rats the size of Shetland ponies. You could put a saddle on them and ride them. I've been in New York City a lot. Used to work in New York City. They have mounds of trash piled as high as the eye can see on every street corner. It is a filthy place. And they are concerned that some people are going to be eating pizza, just like hopefully cowering in the corner, hoping that a mob doesn't come through, that they don't get pushed into a subway car, that they don't get pushed onto the tracks in front of the subway. Like the last vestige of humanity in New York is being able to get a hot slice, and they're going to kill that? Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. This is our Democrat dumpster fire for the day. Go.
not work much longer. New York City's latest green push coming for pizzerias. Newly proposed regulations could force restaurants with coal and wood fire ovens to install filters to slice carbon emissions by up to 75%. One local owner who already spent $20,000 on new filtration systems slamming the cost, saying, quote, it's not just the expense of having it installed, it's the maintenance. I got to pay somebody to do it, to go up there every couple of weeks and hose it down. The air filter is expensive and it's a huge hassle. Elon Musk coming out against the proposal, tweeting, quote, this is utter BS. It won't make a difference to climate change. Okay, so that's a big setup to say you're going to have to find something else to eat on Friday nights.
Yeah, remember how the Democrats like to tell us, like, the government should stay out of my bedroom? Right. Dude, the government's in my kitchen. It's in my garage. Now it's in my pizzeria.
So, New York is waging war on pizza. Out of the darkness, thundering from the fog, the mist, the blackness that is engulfed New York City, comes a patriot, a hero, a man who stands for sanity, who stands for human decency, who stands for a different time, a time and an era when man, woman, and child alike could sit in peace and eat a hot, thin crust New York slice. A man yesterday stood up to the city of New York personally and chucked pizza directly into City Hall or the mayor's house, government building in New York City. He threw pizzas in a moment that was reminiscent of the Boston Tea Party, a modern day version of that. Scott Lebedo is the man's name. Scott Lebedo, a hero of the Republic, joins us now. Scott, thank you so much for being on the program. I've appreciated your work for quite a while, but I ain't never seen anything like this. We're going to play the clip right next to you as you talk about it so that the people can see what you did. This is the Paul Revere moment of our time. This is the Boston Tea Party of our time. It happened in New York. You took that pizza to the front of the mayor's house, I think, and then you chucked it over the fence. And we say thank you.
Yeah, listen, before I get started, I want to show your fans out there who are on the other side of the fence that do watch it. I want to show you this diagram here. See, this is this giant ball of bursting fire and flames and insanity of heat in the sky, in the universe. This little tiny dot right here, this tiny little tiny marble is Earth. See, when she gets pissed off, whether it was 1,000,000 years ago, 500 years ago, or yesterday, she controls the effing thermostat on this little marble. Like George Carlin said, how the hell, who do we think we are that we're changing it? But my SUV ain't doing it, and a freaking slice of pizza is not doing it. It's just about these people. Yes, it's money grabbing shit. Sorry. I'm a passionate man. It's also these people that need to be loved. These sad people who did not follow their dreams in life. So look at me. I'm saving the two-headed spotted owl. I'm concerned. Stop. This little girl from Hansel and Gretel, what happened? 5 years ago, she said we would be gone by now. Alga, it's all bull, okay? And you know whose fault it is, Benny? It's not their fault. It's our fault for being too complacent. Because we let it happen. We sucked up the milk and honey for all these years, and we didn't think that it would get to this point. I've been throwing pizza for 30 years. Not necessarily pizza. Sometimes it's fake blood. I've been fighting and screaming for people to wake the F up because we're right at that brink right now. But now people are starting to get in the game. This, as funny as it is that I'm throwing pizza, it is a Boston Tea Party moment. It is that battle cry.
Talk me through it. It's on the screen right now. This, of course, was seen by multi-millions online. Tens of millions of people saw this and love you, Scott. The entire comment section is melting down saying they love you. Talk us through what's going on the screen right now.
Well, I pulled up with, I don't know if they, when they see the whole video, they could see me bringing up six pies, which is 48 slices of pizza. And then I do this little speech about why I'm doing this, meaning that, hey, look, we had, naked men with their boobs hanging out, in the middle of public in front of children. Okay, in front of children. Our crime is through the roof here. Okay, our economy's screwed. And they're worried about pizza, the insanity. So City Hall, that's where it all starts. That's where it all begins. I don't understand the people of the city. We had the worst mayor in history, de Blasio, before this. And these knuckleheads, these ignorant, self-hating people voted for another de Blasio. And here we are again. The working man is getting the beating. So I am throwing the pizza over the fence to bring attention. And he made his statement right after I did that. He invited me to City Hall as long as I bring him a vegan pizza. I'm from Staten Island. I'm Italian. We don't eat vegan pizza. We eat pizza. And if you ask me to bring pineapples on your pizza, I'm going to throw 1,600 pies over the fence.
Okay, so everyone's in the comment section right now. Scott, I got the comment section in front. They're like, there better be a pineapple pizza. Otherwise, that's pizza abuse.
I don't want to hear that word. I'll get off right now. I'll shut this if I hear pineapple one more time.
Tell me a little bit. You are Mr. New York. You're born and bred. Am I wrong?
4 generations, my friend.
Good man. So I got to tell you, as somebody who, had a show on Newsmax, I traveled to New York often for business and work and sometimes to do my show. I was there in New York more often than I cared to be, no offense. But I was there. I walked the streets. I had to stay in the hotels. Man, it's a dirty, dirty city. I hope you don't mind me saying so.
Not at all.
Piles of garbage. I've never seen rats like this. I've never seen trash and filth like this. Saw some guy with his pants down on the metro. Luckily I wasn't attacked, but dude, it does seem as though they're going after the things that make life worth living and not actually going after things that are environmentally important for just life itself, not huge rats that would bite your children or bums on the subway defecating. Why go after the pizza?
Dude, listen
in
to
all
me.
cities.
I can't emphasize that. I've been fighting this politically correct woke crap for 30 years. 30 years I'm fighting this stuff. But everybody laughed at me. I was the tinfoil hat guy. And now all of a sudden, the last couple of years, everyone's calling me this hero. I'm no hero. I'm just a creative guy making things right through artwork. Throwing pizza, as silly as it is, it's powerful. It's visual. When I do these things, I do them creatively and use visual stimulation. Obviously, this worked. Simple thing like throwing pizza. And back to New York. Yeah, New York was always a little dirty and gritty. That's what makes it. That's what the tourists like to see. A little chain snatch in Times Square. But this is out of control. And going back to the environmental thing, listen to me. They keep taking these streets and shutting them down for the environment, making more bike lanes. But what that does is create more congestion of traffic that never moves, where are the emissions coming from? It's coming from that. And there's this other crazy thing that I noticed. I'm going to do a post on it next week. They have these new speed bumps now. I don't know if you've seen these things. They put this pile of asphalt. Usually it goes across the street, so you go over it with your car. You got to go slow. But they put 2 piles of asphalt where you can still fit your tires through on the regular street. There's no stopping. It doesn't slow you down at all. You just drive right. It's the most insane effing thing you ever seen. That costs money. That is killing the environment, creating that asphalt in the factory and piling it. It's beyond insanity. This is my city. I call it New York City. Sorry, I had to say that, but that's what I call it. It's my city. I can say that. Again, it's just beyond out of control. If you can't, you let these criminals, murderers, right back out on the street, and you're worried about an effing slice of pizza. How does that not blow my mind? How do I not throw pizza at City Hall?
I mean, okay, so a couple of things. One, were you arrested? What happened with the cops? A lot of people asking, hey, were you arrested?
Yeah, the video was cut short. No, and I got a lot of comments. Those cops, they came there in a heartbeat when there's crime, someone's getting murdered. Slow down. Nobody supports the cops more than me. If you remember, I did that 1,000-foot blue line in front of the precinct that raised hell. It's still there. I have nothing but the highest regards. I do a lot for the NYPD because I know what they go through. I have a lot in my family. And these cops were there because I'm at City Hall and there's a gate right there where they stay. It's a little booth. So it's not like they flew with sirens right away because I was throwing pizza. They were there. And they came over to me and they were like, we don't want to arrest you. And you know what? I made my point. And to keep them, a little calmer and a little at ease and show respect, they just gave me a summons. They were laughing at me, It's like, this is the first. We're New York City cops. We've seen everything. The pizza flying, that's the first. So, yeah, I just got a summons. But I am going to take my lawyer to court, and I will fight it because I am an artist, and I was using pizza as my medium to express my creativity and make my point and express my grievances.
Scott, we have a deep appreciation for artists on this program, and we deeply appreciate your art. We love your videos. The entire Benny Brigade is melting down. They love you. You're obviously a fan favorite here. Can we try and do an uplifting show? And art is meant to uplift, and a lot of your art is very patriotic and uplifting. Is there hope for New York? Is there a point at which people will finally say, is there like maybe a Giuliani moment in the future for New York where they're like, we've had enough?
Yes. I don't see it in the very near future. Again, do I get so frustrated? Because, again, for 30 years, I've been telling people, stop. The Giuliani saved the city. We just need another Giuliani. And, do I move to Florida? I've been fighting. Maybe I want to get a white picket fence down at Jersey Shore, a nice girl and a dog, and do characters for $50 a pop so I don't lose the veins out of my neck. But I can't. I'm a New Yorker. I can't leave. I have to fight. And now I'm not fighting alone anymore. People are waking up. What am I telling people to do? I'm not telling you to throw pizza. I'm not telling you to throw fake blood in front of Alvin Bragg's office, and get arrested. I'm telling you to use your voice. Use your First Amendment. Use that New York passion. People used to look up to us as the strong, tough, gritty, balls out New Yorkers. We become so pussified because everybody's afraid of what somebody's going to call them. The sensitivity level. Stop worrying about what people are going to call you. Be an effing New Yorker. Stand up. Don't be violent. No reason to be violent. Be creative and use that Amendment 1 and show up in mass. Show up in mass. I'm doing it myself. No, come on, people. Save this effing city.
Man, you'd say you're gonna have balls out in New York. You're gonna attract Hunter Biden. He's gonna become a resident. It's like that. That sounds like a dream to me. Where can people find your work, Scott? We're gonna put it up on the screen. We're gonna put up your website right now. But tell people how can they support you.
This conservative director, actually, yeah, there it is right there, the trailer for my documentary. This Christopher Martini, conservative director, came to me about 4 years ago and he said, we need to make a documentary about you doing all of this, pizza throwing, fighting the politically correct, promoting Americanism through my art. And I was like, yeah. And so finally we put it together and we're just finishing it up right now and should be ready to be distributed. Hopefully, it's not going to Hollywood. We know they're not going to take a conservative artist movie, but the trailer will totally fire you up. If you think this pizza thing fired you up, the trailer right there, it's a 3-minute trailer. And it just shows you a really quick 3 minutes of my insanity of what I've done. My craziness, getting arrested, fighting. I love this country. Nobody has more freedom than me, an artist. So I worship that flag, the men and women that sacrifice for my crazy ass. So I do so much. It's all about the veterans and the flag. And, I'm Sicilian. I'm an artist. I'm crazy. I drink martinis every day. I smoke 2 packs of cigarettes. I'm New York. I am that artist. The art world hates me. Oh, they wouldn't give me a time of day, but they'll put Hunter Biden's work up. Don't even get me started on that. You get me on again. We'll talk about that one.
The people love you. Scott, we'll do it. We'll do it. Go and follow Scott. This is his Twitter account right now. 62,000 followers. Let's go, baby.
No,
Let's pump those numbers up.
I'm up to 140,000 followers now.
What's that?
I don't think that's my Twitter. That might be a different one.
Oh. Okay.
I'm up to like 140,000 now.
Oh, all right. Well,
I'm no Benny.
We'll work on it. I will say this. It really hits me in the heart, Scott, because these are great American cities. New York is a great American city. New York is a testament to what our people can do and build over the course of generations. Chicago is the same. you shouldn't abandon these places. Like there's so much value in staying and fighting, and it really speaks to me because abandoning means surrendering, and there's some real purpose in staying and fighting and saying, no, you orcs, you will stay at the city gates. We'll defeat you. And it's a wonderful testament to your work there. And so we say Godspeed. We thank you for coming on the show, and we hope that you come back very soon.
Thank you. You're the man.
Scott Lebedo, ladies and gentlemen. Go and follow him. Apparently, we didn't have his right Twitter account. Okay, all right, fine. Hey, listen. Before the show is over, we will go and hunt down the right Twitter account. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. This is the verified account, though. So the best that we can do, ladies and gentlemen, is to bring you the individuals who are fighting to keep America sane, to fight this war that we are all fighting against, the people who wish to take away the food from your very table. I mean, that's what they wanted to do. Whether it's a vaccine mandate to stop you from working, whether it's banning coal-fired and wood-fired pizza, they are trying to take away the things that actually made America America, that keep America going, and that make life, quite frankly, worth living. All right? Make life like enjoyable. Like having a hot slice from a wood-fired or brick-fired oven. Those kind of things are like the little things that like make a place special. They want everything to be homogenous. They want everything to come from the same farm, everything to come from the same field, everything to be state-owned, state-controlled. They want the China model here. And it's artists, creatives, and people who are supporting small businesses, small farmers, that are actually making this movement possible. And we're honored to always help and support those people who are fighting that good fight. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is Lucinda Cramsey, the co-founder of Moink, the best supporters of the family farm in the country. Hello, and I'm sorry if you are looking for a slice of pizza in New York. I really apologize. I guess that's illegal now. They're trying to make the family farm illegal, it seems, and that's something that hits near and dear to my heart, Lucinda, because I'm from Iowa, and this is something that is like woven into the patchwork of where I come from. Can you talk to me about sort of the battle against the family farm as we know it here in America?
Yeah, less than 2% of Americans are farmers, 1.3% to be exact. The average on-farm income in the United States is a loss of $1,100. Farmers are more likely to commit suicide than veterans. 60% of U.S. pork comes from one company. It's wholly owned by the Chinese, my friend.
Whoa, stop. Really?
Yes. Smithfield.
How's that even legal?
Well, I don't know. How about you write your congressman about that one? Right? They're also one of the, I don't know if you're watching, but they're making big moves, China is, in regards to farmland in the United States. Canada is the #1 foreign entity that owns farmland in the United States. But China is definitely making moves, and they do it through the pork production. Now, why do you care? Why does this matter? Right? Other than like, I don't know, do you really want a foreign entity in China at that, controlling your food supply? They use something called ractopamine. It's banned in 160 countries, including China. But you find it on your grocery store shelves every single day. It's in the pork production. They replaced 50,000 independent hog farmers in the state of Missouri alone with 500 hog confinement buildings. I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down there, Benny, but look, 100% of us eat. Less than 2% of Americans are farmers. I think we have a math problem.
Yeah, and we also have sort of a headline problem because I see time and time again major corporations, Bill Gates, for instance, buying up farmland all across the country. Can you sort of elucidate for us, like, why would Bill Gates be buying so much farmland?
Well, I mean, he who controls the food and the dirt. I mean, why not? It's like an investment, right? Like maybe they play above my level on that, but when farmers start to go bankrupt, which they're doing at an alarming rate, right? It creates opportunity for others to buy land. And of course, we all eat. The largest privately held company in the United States. Go, Benny, what is it?
Privately held company? BlackRock? I don't know.
Cargill, a meat company. They are one of the largest. They play with the big boys. The only person that sometimes overtakes them is the Coke industries. So here they are. They're flying right under the radar. We're sitting here. We're talking about tech and the bad this. Meanwhile, right underneath our noses, the largest privately held company in the United States is a meat company. So follow the money, Benny. I mean, usually you get your answer there. We're starting to see, you see the headlines, I guess you saw about this meat grown in a lab, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about that next. Like they're saying, oh, yeah, actually lab-grown meat produces more carbon than natural-grown meat from family farm.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We're doing all of these like block and tackle, coming up with these grand ideas of how to save the environment, when really it's really simple, Benny. How about we take China out of our food supply and put the family farm back at the center of our supper tables? When you family farm, regenerative agriculture, I don't know if you know what that is, but for your audience, I'll explain it because it's kind of a buzzword, right? Regenerative agriculture. What is this? It sounds like a hippie woke term, but it is. Here's what it means. And the simplest way I know to explain it. We've all seen The Lion King. At the beginning of Lion King, we're holding up Simba. We're singing Circle of Life. We're happy, right? The Pride Lands are beautiful. But we're eating whatever the gazelles are. It's a circle of life. Nobody's mad. We're all happy, right? Then what happens? We put Scar on the throne. It's dark. It's twisty. We're sad. We're surrounded by idiots. They overgraze. That's bad. That's big ag, right? That's China and your food supply. So what are we here at Moink? We're Team Mufasa. We're rooting for Simba. Put Simba on the throne, folks. It's a circle of life. But that's regenerative agriculture, is where the animals move in packs. And so you work in tandem with nature. Cutting animals out of your food supply is not going to solve the carbon. We all have a part to play in our food cycle, right? You have the chickens put nitrogen back in the soil. The cattle move across and aerate the soil with their hooves. And so when you work with nature, it's crazy. Nature actually works the way it should when we stay out of it. We don't need to jump up and down about, oh, this carbon. Yeah, well, that's commercial food supply. So there's some basic things we could do. If you look at the back of your shirt, Benny, it's going to tell you where it was made. If you look at your meat at the grocery store, it's not going to tell you. It's not going to tell you that Brazil, Argentina, and some of the bigger players in the grass-fed beef industry. It's not going to tell you any of these things. How hard is it? If we're going to pass regulations, if we're going to jump up and down about let's regulate or let's do this, how about just putting a country of origin label on your food? Now, I don't know how you feel about China being in your food supply, but I also don't know how you feel about weather balloons. But I will say this is the same people that put melamine in their milk. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's really up to you. I try not to judge. Everybody makes their own decisions. But personally, I can tell you this. It's a matter of food security. It's a matter of food security that we take a look. Let's pay attention. JFK once said that a farmer is the only one that buys everything at retail, sells it at wholesale, pays freight both ways. It's true then, and it's true now. We have an issue. And the bigger problem is that saying, oh, those poor farmers has become such a pastime. Oh, those cute poor farmers. Because there's very few, right? We don't even know what a farmer looks like. I'm guessing you're not going to pick me out with my tight jeans and my hooker red lipstick that I'm an 8th generation farmer, right? We don't even know. So we don't know the issues. I do believe that the everyday ordinary American, if they knew what it took to get your food from farm to your supper table, well, I think saying grace would take on a whole new meaning. But there's not enough of us. We're like an endangered species, right? And we're disappearing at an alarming rate. And if the family farm goes away, Benny, you are reliant on companies that are too big to fail to feed your kids. Now, I think we all know there's nothing too big to fail. 2008, anybody. So, I mean, it's a real issue that, like, it's not getting enough traction of what farmers are up against. It's misunderstood. And really, I think that's just a numbers thing, but going back to this, they're doing the lab grown meat and it's a carbon. My personal opinion, it's a nothing burger, all puns intended. And let me tell you why. It's $300,000 or something of that effect that it took them to get it off the ground, right? The CEO, founder, his background has nothing to do with farming or food supply. It's a complicated, brawling game. There's 4 companies that control over 80%. You want to step in my world, you better be able to throw down in that Times Square you're mad about. And his background is more of a tech background, really good marketer, things like that. I just don't see that the economics of that company is going to work, what they would need to do to build it out. As far as the carbon imprint, this, that, and the other, yeah, I mean, there's some studies that will show that it takes more carbon than what it's saving. But me personally, I'm a tender-hearted capitalist. I believe you make doing the right thing profitable, right? I don't see how they make that company profitable. So it's a nothing burger, in my opinion.
I don't want to eat lab-grown meat. I don't want I don't want any of this unnatural chemicals near my kids. We become like very hippie in my family. Like we want things that come from the ground that have the least amount of chemicals added to them possible. I guess that makes us environmentalists. I guess that makes you an environmentalist, actually, because the people who are real environmentalists don't live in New York City, where Scott Lebedo, who's just on, is from. That place is filthy. Those people don't care about the environment. It's farmers and hunters who actually care about the environment, because we need it to live. It's also why I'm very, very proud to be a partner with Moink. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, their meat is absolutely delicious. You can taste the difference for sure. Lucinda, what is the best way that people can support you and find out what you're doing, how you're trying to save the family farm?
Yeah, so if you want to specifically know about me, you can go to moinkbox.com. Make sure to go backslash. Do you have a landing page, Benny? I bet you do. I think it's /Benny. And the reason that's important is because, like, we want to make sure that, make sure Benny knows that you guys are listening to him. Give him some love. But you can go to moinkbox.com if you have, I think it's on Hulu. If you really want to be a super stalker, you can go watch me on Shark Tank, but I call it Fight Club. But really, if you want to do something for the family farm, I have a couple of very specific action items. One, you could come be my customer. That'd be great. I'd love to feed you. Then you don't have to worry about all these little things. You got a guy for that. Or in this case, you've got a woman for that. The other thing you could do is maybe start to look at the labels at the grocery store. Find out who's behind your food. Just check. Just see. Are you buying from Smithfield? And if you are, go on and own it, baby. But just know what you're doing. If you make poor life choices, I like to make my poor life choices with my eyes wide open. I think other people should too. So if you're going to buy that pork chop from China, go on and own it. Make sure you Google it, though. Just take a look. Make sure you know, like, the labels can be confusing. They often hide behind other company names. Regenerative ag definitely has a positive impact. It helps trap carbon, but everybody can do a little something starting where they're at. And maybe one little thing you could do is just pay attention to who's behind your food and make that determination if that's what you're fixing to do it with your eyes wide open.
Lucinda, thank you so much for your work here. Obviously, as somebody who comes from farmland and somebody who really deeply understands the value of it, you need companies that support it. And again, we thank you for your work. And I thank you for my bacon every Saturday morning. Lucinda Cramsey, ladies and gentlemen, moinkbox.com/Benny.
Appreciate you
on the program. Godspeed.
Thank you very much.
The war on food, the war on our souls, the war on this country. What do? Do you retreat? Do you surrender? Or do you stand and fight? As Americans, we stand and fight. As Christians, we stand and fight. As believers, we stand and fight. As people who want to eat not poison, not stuff that was grown in a lab. Oh, it's a steak. Yeah, look, it's made out of bugs. No. We say no to all that. We stay centered on our program. We do our best to bring you the interesting people and the interesting topics and things that are in the world around you. But more importantly, we make sure that every single show we are centered with a bit of truth. And that is why we have a verse of the day. Today's verse comes from Psalm 27. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. We're waiting. We're patient. We're watching in real time, and we know we'll have victory in this life or the next. It's your boy, Benny. Thank you so much. for watching this wild little episode here. We'll see you tomorrow.